Welcome to the Emmanuel Christian Secondary School Grade 9 registration presentation. Every year we like to get our grade 9s together to go over what the major differences are between grade 9 and grade 10, especially as in grade 10 you begin to work towards earning credits and high school graduation and completion. And so this presentation will cover a number of different topics that will be informative for both parents and students. Do take notes if you have any questions, and do forward it to school administration after this presentation. So let's start with what are some of the major differences when you move from grade 9 to grade 10. In grade 9, you're still working off of the K through 9 curriculum. And for the most part, your programming is pretty set, except for the options or electives that you choose. Heading into grade 10, though, you're going to be starting to earn credits towards your high school diploma. The requirements for that high school diploma are set by the Alberta government, and they're the ones who will grant the diploma based on the completion of those requirements. And so you're going to want to make sure that you set up your programming in a way that gets you to that diploma in the end. Of course, at the grade 10 level are designated at the 10, 14, and 15 level. And so you're going to have a 10-1 or a 10-2 or a 10-3, a 14 level, which is mainly our K&D programming, and then at the 15 level, which is typically our options electives. Moving to the grade 11 level, we have those courses showing as 20, 24, or 25. So once again, 20-1, 20-2, 20-3. And then at the grade 12 level, we are working at the 30 level, 30 or 35. And so I'll explain a little bit further what those mean further in the presentation. There's some other major differences from grade 9 to grade 10. First of all, you'll no longer necessarily be part of a class grouping or cohort for your academic classes. A lot of this will be dependent upon what COVID restrictions look like for the fall, but we're hopeful that a lot of these restrictions will no longer be in place. And so when we look at what courses you're going to be wanting to choose for high school, we really have two streams. First of all, what we have is called the mainstream, which are our -2 and -3 level courses. So 10-2, 20-2, 10-3, 20-3, etc. And so the next stream that we have offered is what we would be considered our academic stream. And these are the courses at the -1 level. It's really important to know that whether you choose the academic or mainstream, both of these streams will lead you towards a high school diploma. And really, when you're choosing courses within the mainstream, you're looking at the -2, -3 course, which will get you into college, into the trades, right to work, and different pathways even to university. Our academic stream at the -1 level is a pathway towards university entrance, and really taking a look at the -1 courses is asking yourself, what are your desires, commitments, and work towards academics, and really as that will require an increased level of that of those things to move forward within that stream. It's also important to know that when we take a look at what grade 10 courses you're going to want to be choosing, that really it's based on grade 9 reports and recommendations. You're going to want to be thinking about, what did your teachers have to say as to what the recommendations are for moving into those grade 10 courses. And knowing as well that we're here to help you achieve the goals that you do have towards high school completion. It's also really important to know that in high school that you do not advance the next level of course until you pass and get credits within the current course that you're in. So for instance, you need to pass English 10-2, receive those credits before you can move on to English 20-2, and those are requirements that are set by the Alberta government. Major difference between that and in grade 9 is that in grade 9, K through 9, you moved grade by grade, and in high school you move advanced course by course. All right, so let's answer what the big question is. How do I earn a high school diploma? first of all, what you need to know is that you need to earn a minimum of 100 credits. A lot of students, when they graduate from high school, will be earning a little bit more than that, and we want to make sure that it's not too tight for you to earn those 100 credits, especially as you get to your grade 12 year and you're really counting on passing certain courses to get to that 100 credit mark. If you look at our classes, most of our core classes, so English and social, science, and math, those core classes are each awarded 5 credits. And really what we're looking at when we look at credits is how many hours is spent in the classroom is determining how many credits are awarded for a certain course. Then we look at elective classes, otherwise known as options classes. And the word options, a bit of an interesting term, is really you don't have an option. You do need to complete elective courses in order to achieve a high school diploma. And these classes can be at the 3, 5, or even more credit value depending on what course you are taking at the CTS level. So your shop or foods or digital communications, those courses you can in fact earn credits 1 at a time, and so in a given course you can actually achieve more than 5. You absolutely need English at the 30 level. You need a social at the 30 level as well, and then you will also have other electives that you can take at the 30 level to complete your requirements, and we'll talk about more of those in the next slide. Well, looking then at the specific requirements for high school graduation, there's a chart here that we'll go through together. As we mentioned earlier, you will need a 30 level English and social class at the -1 or -2 level, and the classes that lead up to that. At the math and science courses, you will need a 20 level. So for math, either 20-1, 20-2, or 20-3. For science, you're going to need a 20 level science as well. And so offered here on campus, we have bio, chemistry, and physics at the 20 level. And we would typically offer science 24 as a distance learning class. Moving on to physical education, you will require 3 credits at the grade 10 level for that to fulfill the graduation requirements. Then offered opposite of physical education is CALM 20, 3 credit level course as well. And CALM is a career and life management. It's a great class that we talk about what is life like after post high school and dealing with issues of just independent living, relationships, etc. Moving on, you will also need 10 credits in a grouping, whether it be career and technology studies, fine arts, so that can be band, choir, or arts, second languages, which is at our school is French, other locally authorized courses, or physical education 20 or physical education 30. And then as well, you'll also need 10 credits additional at the 3 level, and other than English and social. And so typically speaking, this would be a 3 level class at the math or science level. You can also use work experience 35 or any combination of CTS or other courses at the 30 level. At Emmanuel, we do offer Sociology 30, which is a requirement to graduate from Emmanuel, which will fulfill a 3 level requirement there. And then from there, you'll need a combination of 24 other credits at the 10, 20, or 30 level, which gets you to that 100 credit mark. Like I said before, most students will graduate with a few more credits higher than that mark. It's also important to know that if you have goals specific to a profession or attending a college or university, we're going to help you to look at those requirements to make sure that you're on track for the goals that you do have. Know as well that when you are heading into grade 10, that no decision is final, and so there are lots of pathways that we can take to get you to your goals, looking for high school completion and onward. So taking a look at the various core streams, I find that these graphics are helpful in showing you the various progressions to move through high school. You'll notice that within the arrows here that there are 2 types, a typical progression, a solid arrow, and a dotted arrow, which is a possible progression. And so once again, we're going to start off with taking classes at the 10 level. And so your child will either register in ELA 10-1 or 10-2. In a lot of ways at the grade 10 level, just due to the size of our high school, we will blend our -1 and -2 courses at the 10 level. With modifications in how those courses will be assessed and the type of work expected within those courses to be different. And so a typical progression, if you start at the -1 level, will be 10-1, moving to 20-1, and then hopefully on to then 30-1. But there again, if you decide in grade 10 that your goals post high school have changed and you no longer require an academic -1 level course, you can always move from a -1 to a -2 to 20-2 in grade 11. Know though that if you start at the 10-2 level and want to then progress to the academic stream, you will need to take ELA 10-1, which will then get you into the academic stream moving forward. And so like I said, at the 10-1 or 10-2 level, that will get you to a graduation requirement for English. Looking at math now, math looks a little bit different than other courses in a lot of ways. Going into grade 10, there's going to be two options in order to select whether it be mainstream or academic stream. And so within the mainstream, if you would like to progress to a -1 or -2 level, you're going to want to be taking Mathematics 10C or 10 Common. If you're looking to fulfill your math requirements for your diploma but don't want to go into mainstream or academic, you can take a 10-3 course, which then gets you to 20-3, which is the extent of what Alberta Education expects for a diploma requirement in math. Then you can also progress as well, should you be successful in Math 10-3 and want to get back at the academic stream, you move back into Math 10 Common and progress as such. And so once again, once you take Math 10 Common, you can progress either to Math 20-1, 20-2, or if you decide down to 20-3, progressing all the way up to Math 30, if you so choose. We do offer in a typical year, if there's enough interest shown, Mathematics 31, which is not a diploma requirement, but for those of you that are looking to do calculus in university, it is a good course to be taking. Looking at science now, majority of our students coming into grade 10 will take Science 10, and from there progress into grade 11, differentiating which science courses they would like to take at the 20 level. Just to remember that you will be required to take a science at the 20 level to fulfill graduation requirements. So from Science 10 at manual here, we offer Biology 20, Chemistry 20, or Physics 20. We do not offer Science 20 as a general class here at a manual. And moving on as well, should you want to take Science 14 or 24, typically interest for that class is not very high at our school. And so if you would like to take that course to fulfill your graduation requirement, we will look for ways to get that done through distance learning. And so from the Science 10 level moving into the 20 level, that will progress to the 30 level. Just a reminder that part of your graduation requirements will be that you take a 30 level class other than English or social and 10 credits in that category. And finally, looking at the social studies program, starting in grade 10, you're either going to differentiate between 10-1 and 10-2. And much like English, we do run blended classrooms typically, just depending on the interest at each level. Both the 10-1 and 10-2 streams will get you all the way to your 30 level. Should you require a certain type of programming in university or college, you will want to take a look at what stream you should be taking for that. And as once again, you take a look at the different progressions there, moving from either the -1 or the -2 stream towards the 3 level, which is a diploma requirement. So we want you to start thinking around some academic goals for grade 10 here, and really one of the first things we want you to focus on is really earning credits. And so we're going to get you to those 42 credits within your first year. and we'll explain how you get to 42 here in just a moment. Part of our academic course load policy is that all grade 10s must take 4 courses each semester, so you'll have no spares in grade 10. And what that really allows us to do is to build that foundation of getting credits and giving you some flexibility later on should you need to adjust your academic programming. Next, as you remember from previous slides, we have you taking PE 10 and COM 20 in grade 10. Those courses are offered opposite every other day in our timetable. And both of those classes are 3 credits, which gets you that 1 extra credit, essentially above that 40 mark. And then we ask, have you complete HCS 3000, which is a module that all of you will take during COM 20 that allows you to then work towards work experience hours that can be then transferred towards credits. You know, it's also really important to know that, you know, no decision that you make is final or fatal to your life, career, and academic goals. You know, there's lots of room to make different decisions, even in grade 10, to get you to where you want to be. And understanding as well that whatever path you choose will require a certain level of commitment as you move forward. So over and above your academic goals, you also want you to be focusing on some personal goals as you head into grade 10. And really what we're asking you to do is really just focus on some elements of self-reflection here, knowing your why, aiming for growth, and really taking ownership over your learning. You know, and part of that is also understanding, you know, what does your learning look like? Are you someone who tends to avoid? Do you procrastinate? What kind of supports will you need? And if you need those supports, do you know where to ask when help is needed? We also want you to focus on your social emotional growth as well, and making sure that we're wrapping supports around our students. And so focusing on wellness, however that looks for each student. And with that, acknowledging your successes as you go along, acknowledging that you will grow. You know, who you are in grade 9 is going to be drastically different as who you are in grade 12. And also acknowledging the fact that there will be challenges along the way. And how do we help you to navigate those challenges in a positive way? That's a huge part of personal growth as you enter into high school. You know, it's also important to know that everyone's path to a diploma is different. We don't want you choosing certain courses because there's a perceived prestige that goes along with taking a certain stream. It's also important to know that your opportunities for different classes and what you choose is going to be different from your friends potentially. And know that you know, you need to show some ownership and some commitment towards your progress towards a diploma. And so, like I said, if as we move towards that diploma, your path is going to look different than many others within your class. All right, so the big question is, how do I register for my grade 10 year? Course selection registration is going to be opening today on Thursday, April the 15th via PowerSchool, and it will be closing on Friday, April the 23rd. First thing you're going to need is your PowerSchool login information. If you do not have this, you will not be able to register. And so we ask that you go to the front office to speak with Ms. Gill if you need that information. We're also going to have you work with your advisor this morning here to pick your courses and to use our course selection guide, a paper copy of that. We're also going to have you map out the requirements to get you to your high school diploma, and spending some time as well just reflecting on what your strengths are and what you're going to need to be successful in grade 10, and possibly even reflecting on what are your goals after high school. We're also going to ask you that you consider your choices of what you select for your courses carefully. Speak with your teachers from grade 9 and recommendations for what they have for grade 10. And then to speak with your family and your parents about what is best and to discuss your goals moving forward. Like mentioned earlier, course selection will be closing on Friday, April the 23rd. If you have any difficulties or made a mistake with registration, don't hesitate to contact your advisor, and we will hopefully get that sorted out for you very, very soon. On the next slide here, there's going to be a short video that's going to take you step by step of how you get into PowerSchool once you log in to select your courses. This is a video that has been prepared for Chinook High School. The process is going to look very, very similar to what we have here at Emmanuel. Know that some of the courses that he references are courses that we don't offer here. And the option that he gives for alternative elective courses is also not something that we have selected here. So really what you need to know is that when you get into the course selection portal, that it will not let you out of that portal until you've selected enough credits that satisfy the requirements for either grade 10, 11, or 12.
Hello, this is a video to show you how to go on to PowerSchool and choose your courses for next year. It's going to assume that you've already logged into your PowerSchool account, and if you don't have access to that, please talk to your advisor. They'll be able to get you on there. When you log in, you'll see a screen up front, and on the left-hand side, you'll see a toolbar with different screens you can go to. We're going to go to course requests. When the course request screen comes up, some really important information here. At the top, it'll say welcome, but underneath that, it'll give you some grade-specific registration instructions. In this case, we're registering a student going from grade 9 into grade 10, and it's telling you have to choose at least a 40 credit full course load. We're not going to let you have a spare. So you're going to have to do that before it will let you out. Remember, when you're choosing courses, you can always drop things later, especially if you're in grade 11 or grade 12. There's different instructions for them, different credit amounts they have to register in, but please register in what it's asking you to do now. We can make changes later. We just want to make sure people are registered in the maximum possible for their grade. Some other things you'll see up top, you can always click on this to view your course requests. That'll happen at the end as well. As you look down the screen, you'll see different course groups, which you're going to have to go into and choose courses from. On the side, you'll see some different information and controls, and we'll get to that in a moment. At the very bottom, we've got this information here that's going to tell you how many credits you have to enroll in, how many that you're currently enrollment, and then how many more you need to enroll in. So here we go. We'll go back up and request some courses. If I look over here, I see a pencil, which is I'm going to click to go into these courses. But beside that, I see either an exclamation point in red or a green check mark. The exclamation point means you have to go in there and do something. You'll notice that electives and some other courses have this green check mark already, which means you might need to go in there, but you don't absolutely have to. You are to make those other requirements, though. Let's go into phys ed. Once we click on a screen, there's some other important information in here. It'll give you some information at the top of this course group. Take a look at that. Really important to pay attention to is at the bottom here, there's only one page for this course group, so I don't have to worry about clicking to other pages. But when we get to electives, you're going to see multiple pages that you're going to want to go through. And then some information at the bottom about how many courses you need to select and how many credits. In this case, I can only select one of these courses. I'm going to look through and make sure I look at the prerequisite notes, make sure that all of that is making sense to me and I'm doing what I should do. So for example, this first class here is only for knowledge and employability students, so I'm not going to choose that. But if I look at all of them, it's going to tell for phys ed in grade 10, it's going to register me in comm as well. And it also tells you how many credit hours it's worth. So I'm going to pick one of these courses. I'm going to pick lifestyle. I'm going to do that. Notice when I choose a course, it shows up here as what I've chosen. Next one, I'm going to do some English courses. Again, I'm going to look at the prerequisites. In this case, again, I'm only going to choose one course. So I'm going to select English 10-2. I'm going to do the same thing for social. I'm going to go in here, only one page again. Going to social 10-1. I'm going to go into here, science. Again, I'm going to make a choice. Math, same thing. Read my prerequisites, choose the course I want to choose. Now, electives, I have to choose some electives. Before we get to electives, the ESL courses, these are for English language learners. You can choose some here. They will go towards your electives credits, but you don't have to choose anything in this box, and most people won't. I'm going to go into electives. And this is where it gets a little bit longer. You'll notice that there's actually 3 pages of electives I can choose here. This is also where it gets really important to look at the number of credits that each course is worth, because some are going to be worth different. And in this case, I must choose at least 3 electives. Remember, I have to have a full course load. You can choose more because band and choir, we're looking at, as usual, offering it at lunchtime or at flex. So you may actually have it in addition, extra additional credits. I'm going to go through and I'm going to choose 3 courses. Let's say I'm interested in band and art. And let me see, next page. Oh, I'm looking down here. Wow, this course is worth 20 credits. Then I read and go, this is for K&E knowledge and employability students, and it will fulfill all of those credit requirements. So in that case, you only have to choose that one course. I can go down, maybe I'm interested in legal studies, and the next one, I'm going to choose yoga. Hit OK. All right, so look there. I've got my 4 courses chosen. Now's a good time to check the credits at the bottom. I've already requested 46 credit hours, so I can't actually request any more credit hours. All of my check boxes are filled, so I go, hey, maybe I'm done. Missing one thing. Make sure you go into the alternate electives box. Everybody should do that. What this does is these will let you choose courses that in case you can't get into your electives, these are your next choices. Do not choose the same courses. It doesn't make it any more likely you'll get into the courses. But I know that I want to choose some extra electives, and please select up to 3. So, okay, if I don't get into one other of my courses, I want digital media and French and technical theater. Okay, those are my alternates. Okay, so they will show up there, but notice that my credit hours didn't go up. So I've chosen everything. Everything works well, and I can hit submit. I'm just going to show you what happens if you try to submit if you haven't chosen something. So I've unchecked something, so I don't have my phys ed checked. So I'm going to try to submit, and this is what it tells me. Oh, you have a requirement left. You can't leave yet. You have to check a phys ed class off. So we'll go back in. Oh, now I'm going to check phys ed. Hey, now I'm good again. Now when I hit submit, if everything's successful, it will take me to my course requests page. It will list all of the courses that I've requested and all of my alternates. Okay, so that's really important that you do those alternates. So once again, if you can't get into one of your electives, it'll give you an alternate there. All right, thank you.